Old Brit Bailey's light. Brit Bailey's dying request was that he be buried standing up. He proclaimed that he had spent his whole life stomping over the Texas prairies and he didn't aim to stop when he died. They buried Old Brit in 1833, but residents in the area of Bailey's Prairie, 5 miles west of Angleton, Texas, in Brazoria County, claim that the early settler has kept his vow to keep stomping around on the prairies. The Thomas family moved into Old Bailey's place shortly after he had been planted erect in the sod and were the first to bear witness to the old-timer's ghost. It did not wait long to start prowling around. In her diary, Anne Rainey Thomas made a record of her sighting of old Brit's ghostly face looking through the window at her one night. Her servant girl, Melinda, reported that the ghost chased the hired hands away from the cows during evening milkings. All members of the household swore to have heard old Brit's shuffling footsteps moving around in the house after dark. Once when Mr. Thomas lay ill, he claimed that he clearly saw Brit Bailey in the room with him. But it was not until the early 1850s that Bailey's glowing, ghostly image began to be seen away from his house out on the open prairies. Colonel Mardello Bunsen and several of his guests saw a glowing ball of light drift inexplicably past his home at a very slow pace early one evening. Saddling their horses, the colonel and his male guests gave the strange globe of glowing light a hearty pursuit, but were unable to capture it or clearly identify it. From that night on, Brit Bailey's light has drifted across the Texas prairies that the old settler was so reluctant to relinquish. The ghost light of Chinati Mountain. Since the days of the earliest pioneers and settlers, people in the area of Chinati Peak, located in the Chinati Range of southwestern Texas, have seen a glowing orb about the size of a basketball suspended in midair. The light that emanates from the unexplained object ranges in apparent intensity from a mere twinkle to a blinding glare. The peculiar orb has been known to materialize, move about, split into twin spheres, and reform in front of confused and astounded witnesses. According to area residents, the best spot for observing the ghost light is along Highway 90 between the towns of Marfa and Alpine. Local legend attributes the source of the spook light to the spirit of the Apache chief Allsafe, who was tricked into offending a tribal Manitou after he had been betrayed by some Mexican soldiers. According to legend, Allsafe's eternal punishment is to wander the Big Bend region of Texas. It is the chief's glowing spirit that people see when they witness a manifestation of the spook light of Chinati Peak. Some observers of the ghost light have attributed the source of the eerie illumination to the reflection of the moonlight on deposits of mica that are in the cliffs and crags of the mountain. However, this theory does not explain how the brightly glowing orb is visible on nights when the moon is hidden behind thick banks of cloud. Some residents maintain that the ghostly light is seen under only two conditions, either just before or immediately following rain. Others argue that they have seen the light dozens of times when the land has been bone dry. Rationalists explain the manifestation by stating that the mystery light has been caused by the reflection of automobile headlights coming down Paisano Pass. The hypothesis seems disproved by the light's ability to maintain a steady glow for several hours without having to depend on the headlights of the occasional motor vehicle passing by. And then there is the troublesome fact that the earliest settlers and travelers in southwestern Texas mentioned that seeing the ghost light covered wagons and stagecoaches were not known for having powerful headlights. Whether the enigmatic light of Chinati Peak is caused by certain unique climatic conditions working on mineral deposits limited to that area, or whether observers really are seeing the glowing spirit of Chief Allsate, one indisputable fact remains: the spook light is there. The mystery lights of Brown Mountain. Nestled far from the nearest city of Hickory, North Carolina, the Brown Mountain region has been the dwelling place of mysterious glowing lights for more than 200 years. From sunset until sunrise, globes of various colors, ranging in size from mere points to 25 feet in diameter, can often be seen rising above the tall trees and flickering on and off as they fall below the mountain pass.
Although the Brown Mountain Lights were first documented in 1771 by Gerard Wildebohm, a German engineer, they did not receive national attention until an account of the phenomenon appeared in the works of the writer Charles Whitefoord from 1874 to 1932, who described how the lights chased early settlers along the various trails that led to these sparsely placed cities. Many legends have sprung up attempting to explain the origin of the lights. One states that they are caused by the spirits of Cherokee and Catawba braves who searched this valley for the maiden lovers they left behind when they were slain in a big battle hundreds of years ago. Some area residents believe the battle still rages between spirits of the two tribes, for they claim that they have seen the lights fighting, butting into each other, and bouncing around, resembling extra large basketballs in the process. In 1913, the U.S. Geological Survey tried to explain the lights by attributing them to reflections caused by the headlights on locomotives or cars that run through the nearby Catawba Valley. However, during the spring of 1916, when a flood prevented the use of all local bridges and the roads became too muddy for cars to travel, the Brown Mountain Lights were seen in greater numbers than ever before. Besides, residents argue the lights have haunted the region for hundreds of years, long before automobiles were invented. Since the early 1900s, people have attempted to formulate scientific explanations for the Brown Mountain Lights. Among the theories favored by those who would characterize the lights as a naturally occurring phenomena are St. Elmo's fire, electrical discharges that sometimes occur during thunderstorms, foxfire, phosphorescent illumination issuing from decaying matter, or simply moonlight shining on ground fog. While many individuals have tried to dismiss the idea that the lights are supernatural in nature, thousands of people have witnessed, photographed, and experienced bizarre encounters with the mystery orbs. In more recent years, certain researchers have attributed the eerie lights to entities from UFOs or Native American ghosts. According to many who have seen the Brown Mountain Lights, they are most often visible on partly cloudy nights when the moon is low. The prime viewing time is between 9:30 and 10 o'clock p.m., although the sightings occur during all seasons. Some who have empirically studied the lights state that the best time to see them is on a crisp autumn night after a rain. Bob Downing, writing in the Beacon Journal, September 15, 2002, suggested the following viewing spots for those who wish to search out the Brown Mountain Lights for themselves. The Lost Cove Cliffs overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway, the Thunder Hill overlook at milepost 290, Weissman's View south of Linville Falls, and overlook on Jonas Ridge off State Route 181. The Ghost Lights of Silver Cliff. In the little town of Silver Cliff, found in the wet mountain valley of Colorado, ghost lights have been seen in the local cemetery for more than a century. The lights can never be approached in order to gain a closer look. As soon as anyone comes too near, the lights disappear, only to pop up again in another section of the cemetery. Local folklore has it that the lights were first seen by a group of miners passing by the cemetery in 1880. When the miners saw the flickering blue lights over the gravestones, they left the vicinity in a hurry. Since then, the lights have been observed by generations of residents of Custer County. The cemetery was the final resting place for many miners who lost their lives digging for precious ores in local caverns. According to the legend, the flickering lights of the graveyard are the ever-glowing searchlights on atop the miners' caps. The lights guide the spirits of the long-past miners still searching for the silver they never found. In 1880, Silver Cliff boasted a population of 5,087. By the early 21st century, it had only a few hundred inhabitants and had almost become a ghost town. The story of the ghost lights of Silver Cliff first reached public attention in the spring of 1956 when an article on the mystery appeared in the Wet Mountain Tribune. When some observers of the spook lights noted that the bluish-colored illuminations could not be seen as clearly as the sandstone markers, many spectators became convinced that the lights were only a reflection of house lights in the valley. However, on August 20th, 1967, the New York Times carried a story on the phenomena. In the article, County Judge August Menzel gives the account of the night inhabitants of both Silver Cliff and nearby West Cliff turned off all of their lights, including street lights, but the graveyard lights still danced. Other rationalists have believed the Silver Cliff ghost lights to be caused by the reflections of stars, yet the lights are just as clear on starless, moonless nights. Some have tried to prove that the lights are caused by phosphorescent or glowing wood, but the darker the night, the brighter the lights. It has also been suggested that radioactive ores cause the flickering lights. Geiger counters have been employed to cover the entire area, but no radioactivity has been discovered. So we have this Spooksville ghost light. One of the many famous ghost lights appears in the tri-state area of Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. A ghostly light that has been seen in the area, sometimes referred to as the Spooksville Triangle, is even advertised as a tourist attraction. The Spooksville ghost light resembles a bright lantern. Often the light dims before spectators, then bounces back over the mountains in a brilliant blaze of light. Hundreds of first-hand encounters with the mysterious ghost lights are on record. These accounts demonstrate that actual experiences with the unknown are sometimes frightening and always interesting.